Oh, Canada. The sound of freedom coming from our neighbors in the north as thousands of truckers are vowing to stay parked in the capital until the government repeals its vaccine mandates for truckers. But as the freedom fighters in Ottawa hold their ground, the CBC reports that Prime Minister Justin Trudeau is now considering even stricter vaccine mandates for truckers, saying, quote, the country is disgusted by the behavior displayed by the protesters. But is that really the case? Let's ask reporter for Canada-based Rebel News, Adam Soos, who was on the ground during the protests this weekend. Adam, thanks for being with us.
Happy to be here. Thanks for having me.
So in your latest report, you said that this weekend's gathering felt much more like a victory march than the weekly protests Canada has seen the past 2 years. How so? Tell us more about it.
Yeah, there is definitely a palpable energy. I spoke with Pastor Artur Pawlowski, who's been arrested a number of times for daring to open his church, and how he defined it, I think, was probably better than I ever could. He effectively talked about sowing seeds and working for all this time in the same faces, maybe a few hundred or a few thousand people coming out week after week for almost 2 years now, fighting for freedom. The truckers have taken the lead and taken the reins, and it feels like the country is more united than ever. All the way from the West Coast, the convoy made its way across the country. I'm in Calgary here, and they're now in Ottawa. But we had, in a city of 1.2, 1.3 million, thousands of people take to the streets here in Calgary. People were on the streets of Vancouver. Across the country, for the first time in a long time, people were unified and people were rallying and people were saying enough is enough. The extent of the response from Prime Minister Justin Trudeau and the state-funded media outlets to vilify this peaceful, friendly, exuberant protest speaks to how effective it is. It says nothing about the actual people who are very friendly, but it certainly speaks to the impact that this rolling convoy is having.
So Justin Trudeau earlier today said on video, and it's made its way around now in the news cycle, that he would not be a part of this protest because there is violence associated with it and the breaking of laws. Is there any truth to that whatsoever at this stage?
No, it's absolutely a mischaracterization of what's happening here. He has also repeatedly stated that anyone basically unvaccinated, or amongst those ranks at least, are misogynists and racists, despite the fact that, say, Black communities are the most vaccine hesitant out of any. It has been mischaracterization since the start. The media has been complicit in this as well. We saw a Terry Fox statue commemorating a Canadian hero who made his way at least partway across the country on one leg, running to battle cancer. And what had happened is a group simply put a sign by it, hung a flag, a Canadian flag off of him, and they meant it to be a sort of celebration. Now, obviously, I'm not necessarily in favor of that, but there was nothing disrespectful intended about it. They said it was defaced. Mere months ago, people put masks on it and put pro-vaccine signs, and that was adorned. They call that adorning it. So there's a clear double standard, a clear juxtaposition. What the media isn't showing is the fact that a group of people went back afterwards and scraped the statue clean, polished it up and everything. There's even a bit of graffiti at a store nearby, and people were there in the morning with razor blades, very carefully scraping the graffiti off the store window. So this is nothing like some of the BLM protests we saw in the United States with looting and rioting. It's very peaceful. There's even tons of footage of people with garbage bags going around cleaning up. Listen, this group invited our boss, Ezra Levant, who happens to be Jewish, to go speak to the entire crowd.